Hi guys, welcome back to another edition of MHI's Roundtable Discussions, where we sit with the world's greatest experts to talk about medical science. I'm joined today, as usual, by Dr. Eberwein, my brother Carlos, and today we have the great honor and pleasure of being joined by Dr. Robert Slovack. So Robert is a world-renowned water expert who's been at the forefront of the water industry for over 50 years now. He and his brother are world famous for being the early developers of the reverse osmosis water filtration system. Their successful innovations influence everything from home and industrial drinking water, bottled water production, seawater purification, and even spot-free vehicle washing, making him an iconic figure in the water industry, along with inventing the first ever molecular hydrogen tablet. And in 2017, he started Water and Wellness with a mission of crafting the world's finest treatment system for the health conscious, and single-handedly responsible for bringing Quinton marine plasma to the United States, which is a miracle product we'll be talking in great length today. So I think I can safely say that Robert is the godfather of water wellness solutions and a true warrior that's truly fighting for the health of our water supply. Thank you, Robert.
Are we going to get to meet this guy?
You sound like the Mick Jagger of water, man.
And he's a cool guy.
Yeah,
we got to say that.
definitely cool.
It's great to hang out with him.
So, pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you. This is a pleasure.
So, it's funny. Miguel has been on me to do this because, again, at our company, what we try to do, when optimization, lifestyle, I like to call it best life, get to the best wellness you can. So we went looking for the foundational supplements that physiology, that our body needs. And my God, we've been doing hormone replacement, nutrition, sleep, all of those things. And Miguel really is the one that brought us to you to let us know that electrolytes, water, and all of those different elements, it's at the basis of every physiological action. And that's why you're here today to teach us what are electrolytes, why is water so important to our physiology, and how can we use that to our benefits?
Well, most people realize that we're 60 to 70% water, okay? At birth, when you're a fetus, you're 98% water. And so water is a big part of our physiological construction. But that's pretty much where it ends for everybody because they don't really realize what's locked in that water that makes all the difference. It's not just H2O anymore in your body. And I have dragged out of history what truly is perhaps the greatest discovery in modern physiology. And it follows that, and this discovery happened in the 1800s. Shortly after Rudolf Virchow discovered that the body is composed of all these cells, millions and billions. He didn't know how to count them, but we know now it's trillions of cells, probably 50 trillion cells. That's what we're composed of.
Yeah, they say I looked it up in ChatGPT. It's roughly 30 to 100 trillion.
Okay,
Hopefully, ChatGPT
is correct.
Okay. And those cells are, the average person, the average practitioner doesn't realize how those cells are situated in the body. But they're situated in the body very much like cells were situated in the primordial ocean. The first cells were floating in the ocean. And we're going to talk about the ocean today. And I'm going to tell you a couple things right now about the ocean. And that the ocean is the only aqueous, meaning water, solution of the entire periodic table of the elements. Okay? Now, we're going to show you what a periodic table of the elements is in case you've forgotten from your high school chemistry class. So, if you notice that the first image that we put up, it says the terrain is everything. And it is the most profound concept and aspect of human biology and physiology. In fact, let me change that. It's the most profound aspect of all living things.
Wow.
Plants and animals.
I can tell you really quick. Again, terrain, I speak French, so that's a French word. Terrain, le terrain in French. So what it is the soil. It's the base of everything that things grow, that life comes out of. Yeah. So again, thank you for that French reference.
For plants, to extend what your comment is, for plants, the terrain is the soil. Okay?
For cellular life.
Most of you know way more about soil than you do about your body, but there's a lot of parallels there. And you know the soil is everything when it comes to the quality of the flowers, the broccoli, the tomatoes, okay?
Everything.
Period. And we're going to learn what defines that. So we're going to start at this point, the terrain. And the first person to even, after Virchow said, hey, you're just like billions of little cells put together, it was Claude Bernard shortly after that, after Rudolf Virchow, who said, hey, all those cells, they're floating in something, okay? And he called it, because Claude Bernard was French, he said, this is the internal milieu, or milieu is a French word for the liquid, and he called it the milieu intérieur, which is a term that has survived to this day. And they would, instead of, if we were in France right now, we would say, he could probably say it in French better than I, but it would be the milieu intérieur is everything.
Le milieu intérieur.
Yeah, is everything. Total. Now, let me confuse you a little more by introducing you to something that not everybody knows, but this is the periodic table of the elements. And I love the periodic table of the elements because it's absolutely it represents every material thing that God created. Okay? Everything. The whole universe. Every star that you can and cannot see, every planet, every asteroid, every comet, you name it, black hole, everything, it's all composed of these 92 natural elements.
Wow, this is profound because again, I can still remember my high school chemistry, college chemistry, med school chemistry. It was all about the periodic table of elements, and nobody has ever put it like this for me. That really, we are matter. The universe is made out of those 90 elements. So this is beautiful when we think about this, and you think about the Big Bang and how matter is formed. Matter is formed from all those elements. Right?
Yes.
And this is what we consider essential minerals and trace elements, right? And you teach us that.
They're part of this.
Right.
But there's some things on the element chart that have nothing to do with our body. And the category we would call inert gases.
Inert gases.
They have a special function in nature. Yeah. They're just not part of our physiology.
And we're going to focus, because really it's such a complicated table. The inert gases, we won't even talk about them. We're going to go and talk about the elements, the trace elements and minerals, the electrolytes that our body, that comprises that terrain, that milieu, meaning that, it's amazing. Our body that we're seeing now, it's not a whole. We're made of trillions of cells that work together.
Right.
But all those cells have to be in a medium. And that medium is water and electrolytes.
Right. And just before you move on to basic chemistry, there's 78 minerals and 14 are gases from the periodic table of elements?
No, that's what's in our wonderful product, Quinton.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So yes, continue.
So this is it.
This
now,
is
there's going to be a couple brainiacs out there that say, is Robert not up on science because he's using the 92 natural elements? But in the last few years, they added 2 natural ones on. Okay? So there's actually neptunium and plutonium. They have realized there's enough of it on the earth to call them natural elements because as far as we know, our unique ocean is a solution of all the elements of the periodic table, save for the gases and so on. It's the only thing that exists of this nature in the entire known universe. The Earth
it's a
magic.
liquid form of the periodic table.
It's a liquid form, a solution of the periodic table.
And
Now,
I'm going to try to make it a little simple for
I'm going to
viewers.
electrolytes here.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So when those dissolve in water, what happens? What is that called? That ripping apart of the salt into sodium and chlorine is called an electrolyte. It now has its charge, sodium positive, chlorine negative. They're not neutralized anymore. They've been separated and surrounded by water. And when you take the elements and separate them with water, they exist in the form we call electrolytes.
Wow.
Beautifully said.
That was very scientifically said.
Okay, and that started to run because of this charge separation of all the elements. They now existed as electrolytes in the water, all of them, and the ones that can dissolve and aren't inert gases. Let's just say we're going to use a number. There's 78 of them, and they all exist as electrolytes in the water. Now we'll make it easy. 4 billion years ago, okay? All the minerals have dissolved in the water. We have the ocean, and now all of this energy of electrical energy, you have the gases in the atmosphere, which was hydrogen at the time, not oxygen.
So what you're telling us and what science is showing is that really the way life started, it started through water. You needed water, but not just water. It needed those elements, and those elements are in the periodic table that had all the components of life. So once water came in and dissolved that rock that was our Earth, right? It dissolved it. Now you have the primordial ocean, or the soup that was able to create life.
And the biggest part of the soup was the electrolytes.
Was the electrolytes. Now we don't know what was l'élan de vie, what insufflated life to make it from nothing into the first cell. That's another debate.
Right.
But there's no question that life, is cellular life, started from the ocean.
Yes.
So to start, it needed those elements, and it needed the water reaction. And again, now life went from the ocean into Earth, into the ground, and became who we are today, hundreds of millions of years later.
Right.
But to go back to your sentence, the terrain is everything. We needed that primordial soup. I'm a soup guy. So when we make soup, you make bone broth. What do? We take a lot of bones that has all the minerals. We put boiling water. You get all the minerals, all the vitamins from the bone, and then you drink that, it gives you life. That's how I'm seeing the primordial ocean.
Yes. That is a good analogy for what the primordial ocean was to whatever that caused that spark of life. And maybe straightforward scientists would say it could have been lightning, it could have been cosmic rays, it could have been photons from the sun. Other people will tell you it could just been the hand of God the moment God said you're alive. Okay, we don't know.
But again, to me, what's important, what I want all of us to get is that again, the terrain is everything. Without that salty solution of those elements, life could have never come out. Right. And then when life came out, as we said, we are trillions of cells looking like matter, but really we are only as healthy as each one of our cells. And for our cells to be healthy, it bathes into that terrain, that milieu,
Correct.
that medium. We need to know about that medium. The same way, if you're somebody who knows plants, you know everything about the soil. How much nitrate should it have? How much moisture should it have? We don't know what our soil.
In other words, you treat the soil,
Yeah.
not the plant.
So
right?
we're talking about our soil. We
Right.
never talked about our soil.
So I think this is a great opportunity to segue into how much of this electrolyte makes our bodies. What are the benefits
We're
of
going to
it?
talk about it right now.